Sometimes the strongest promises are the ones whispered before a child even enters the world. And today, something beautiful is about to unfold in Ty and Amy's lives, something that will shape their future as parents forever. Morning light slowly spreads across the Heartland Ranch, casting a soft golden glow over the fields. The horses move lazily in their paddocks as if they can already feel that this day is meant to be different. Inside the barn, Amy stands quietly beside Spartan, her hand resting gently on his neck. She smiles, but it's the kind of smile that tries to cover a long night of worry. Her body feels different these days, heavier, slower, yet strangely fuller. Every small flutter or shift reminds her that another heartbeat depends on her now. She lets out a slow breath, brushing Spartan's coat the way she has 1,000 times. But today each stroke carries a meaning she can't quite put into words. Ty watches her from a few steps away, leaning against the barn door. He tries not to stare, but it's almost impossible. There is something about seeing Amy like this, strong, yet careful, glowing yet unsure, that pulls him in. He notices the way she pauses between breaths, the way she quietly rubs her lower back, the way her eyes drift when she thinks no one is looking. It hits him again, the same way it has every single morning. They're going to be parents. He's going to be a father. The idea is beautiful, but it also lands heavy on his shoulders, like a weight he isn't sure he knows how to hold. Lou walks in with her usual rush of energy, a warm smile spreading across her face the moment she sees Amy. She reminds them about the doctor's appointment at noon, but her voice softens when she notices Amy's tired expression. Lou leaves with a supportive squeeze on Amy's arm, promising to take care of things at the ranch so they don't have to worry about anything but the baby today. For a moment after she leaves, silence settles again. But it's a comfortable silence, the kind that only comes from two people who have shared every kind of moment, good and bad, for years. Still, something unspoken lingers between Ty and Amy. It hangs in the air like a question neither knows how to ask. Amy is afraid of saying too much because she doesn't want her worries to make Ty feel worse. Ty holds back because he doesn't want to place more stress on Amy or bring his past into their present. Even though they stand only a few feet apart, both of them feel the gentle ache of hidden fears. They want to talk, but neither knows where to begin. Amy turns back to Spartan, letting her hands settle on his strong neck. He's been her partner through every chapter of her life, and somehow he always seems to understand her better than anyone. She leans her forehead against him for a moment, closing her eyes, trying to steady her racing thoughts. The baby isn't even here yet, but love is already blooming inside her, becoming bigger than anything she's ever known. That love brings joy. Yes, but it also brings questions. Will she be a good mother? Will she balance her life, her horses, and this new world she's stepping into? Will she give the baby the same warmth and safety that she felt growing up at Heartland? Behind her, Ty shifts his weight, uncertain whether to speak or stay quiet. He wants to comfort her, but he's caught between his own fears. He thinks of the ultrasound photo he tucked into his wallet, the tiny shape that already changed his entire world. He wants to promise he'll never fail this child, but how can he say those words out loud when he's still trying to believe them himself? The morning stretches out around them, the smell of hay, the soft stomping of horses, the sun warming the barn doors, yet everything feels strangely suspended. Today is the day they will learn more about the life growing inside Amy. Today is the day their worries and hopes will collide. And even though they haven't spoken it yet, something in both of them knows that before the sun sets, they will have to face the truth about the fears they keep tucked away. The hours slip by slowly as the morning settles into its familiar rhythm, yet neither Ty nor Amy feels truly present in the tasks they try to busy themselves with. After leaving the barn, Ty wanders toward the trailer area, pretending he needs to check his tools, but his hands grow still the moment he pulls open his toolbox. The truth is, he isn't here to fix anything. He's here because he needs a quiet corner to breathe, to let the thoughts he's been holding back finally rise to the surface. The soft hum of the ranch surrounds him, but his mind drifts somewhere far away to the boy he used to be. The boy who slept in shelters, who flinched at loud voices, who learned early how unpredictable a parent could be. He takes the ultrasound photo from his pocket again. The tiny shape on the paper looks fragile, but also full of possibility. He runs his thumb over the image, and a wave of fear sweeps through him. He wants to believe that he's ready for this, but another part of him whispers doubts he tries so hard to silence. What if he repeats the mistakes he grew up with? What if he isn't strong enough? What if he can't give this child the safety he never had? These questions sit heavy on his chest. Ty isn't a kid anymore. But some fears cling to a person no matter how far they've come. On the other side of the ranch, Amy walks slowly toward the round pen, letting Spartan follow her at his own pace. She doesn't plan to train him today, she just needs the comfort of open space and quiet air. She rests her hands on the fence, watching the wind ripple through the tall grass. The ranch has always been her safe place, her anchor. Yet today, even the familiar sights feel charged with emotion. She presses a hand gently against her stomach, and for a moment the world around her softens. She imagines holding the baby, imagining their tiny fingers curled around hers. It should calm her. Instead, an unexpected wave of doubt washes through her. Amy has always been strong, brave, steady. People rely on her. Horses trust her. She has healed creatures others gave up on, but motherhood is something different, something bigger. There is no guidebook, no step-by-step process. She wonders if she will be patient enough, wise enough, strong enough. What if the baby needs something she doesn't know how to give? What if she can't keep up with the life she loves and the life she's building? These thoughts don't make her weak, they simply make her human, but today, they feel louder than usual. Jack approaches her with slow, measured steps, his boots crunching softly against the dirt. He doesn't say anything at first. He simply stands beside her, leaning on the fence, watching Spartan graze. Jack has a way of understanding things without needing explanations. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't push. The quiet between them is warm, familiar. After a long moment, he speaks in a low, steady voice, telling her that he remembers the day Amy was born, how he stood in a hospital hallway, pacing until his boots were nearly worn through. He says that fear and excitement often walk hand in hand, and that even the strongest parents feel lost sometimes. Amy listens, her throat tightening. Jack doesn't try to take her worry away. He simply reminds her that love always finds a way forward, even when the path feels unclear. His words sink into her slowly, like sunlight melting away frost. She doesn't say much back, she doesn't need to. She just nods, letting the warmth of his presence settle the storm inside her a little. Meanwhile, Ty closes his toolbox with a quiet thud, unable to focus anymore. He knows he's been avoiding talking to Amy about what's bothering him. He loves her more than anything, but saying his fears out loud feels like peeling back a layer he's worked years to protect. Still, something shifts in him. Maybe it's the thought of the baby, maybe it's the memory of the clinic visit in a few hours, or maybe it's the simple truth that he wants to be better, the best version of himself for this family he's building. He straightens up, tucks the ultrasound photo safely into his pocket, and takes a slow breath. Across the distance, Amy looks up at the same moment Ty steps out of the shadows of the trailer area. Their eyes meet from afar. Neither of them smiles, but something passes between them, a silent understanding. A shared vulnerability neither has spoken out loud yet. It's not a solution, not yet, but it's a start. And in this moment, both of them begin to realize that facing their fears alone isn't the answer. They're stronger together, even when the road ahead looks uncertain. The drive to the clinic begins quietly, with Ty and Amy seated close but wrapped in their own thoughts. The truck hums gently beneath them as familiar roads roll past the windows. Pine trees blur into soft streaks of green, fence posts click by in a steady rhythm, and the ranch slowly disappears behind them. Yet inside the truck, the silence feels thick, almost delicate, as if one wrong word might cause everything bottled up inside them to spill out at once. Amy rests her hand over her stomach, feeling the gentle rise and fall of her breath, while Ty keeps his eyes fixed on the road, gripping the wheel just a little too tightly. Even though Amy tries to look calm, Ty knows her well enough to see the worry hiding behind her stillness. She keeps glancing out the window, but her thoughts drift too far from anything she's actually seeing. Ty notices the tiny movements of her fingers, the way she taps them lightly against her leg, a habit she falls into when she feels unsure. He wants to reach for her hand, to reassure her, but fear keeps his own hand glued to the wheel. What if he says the wrong thing? What if opening up leads to a conversation he's not ready to have? Amy, on the other hand, watches him from the corner of her eye. She sees the tight set of his jaw, the way his shoulders sit a little higher than normal, the stiff curve of his mouth. She knows Ty isn't angry, he's scared. She knows this because she feels the same fear inside herself. But somehow, knowing they share the same emotion makes everything feel even heavier, because neither of them knows how to start the conversation that's quietly eating at them. As they reach the edge of town, the world grows louder, cars' voices, crosswalk beeps, but inside the truck, the silence remains. Finally, as Ty pulls into the clinic parking lot, he stops the engine and lets his hands rest on the steering wheel for a long moment. The sudden stillness settles around them. Amy turns toward him slightly, her mouth opening just enough to speak, but she hesitates. She can't find the words. Not yet. When they walk into the clinic, the air is cool, almost too clean, with soft colors painted along the walls. A nurse smiles at them warmly, checking them in with practiced ease. Amy sits down, her hands folded neatly, while Ty lowers himself into the chair beside her. The quiet between them now feels different, not heavy, but fragile, waiting. The room smells faintly of lavender and fresh paper. A soft melody plays from a small speaker. But neither of them truly hears it. Names are called. People move in and out, but time seems to slow just for them. Ty shifts in his chair, glancing around the waiting room. He sees posters about parenthood, soft images of babies, smiling faces. Each picture triggers a swirl of emotions in him: hope, fear, longing, something unexplainable. He looks at Amy again, and this time he notices the tiredness around her eyes, the gentle tension in her shoulders. He feels a sudden pang of guilt. She's carrying not just the baby, but the weight of everything unsaid between them. Finally, Amy speaks, her voice soft, barely above a whisper. She tells him she's scared. She doesn't try to hide it. She doesn't pretend to be strong. She just says it simply, honestly. Ty's heart twists. Hearing her say out loud what he's been feeling inside hits him harder than he expects. He turns to her, and for the first time that day, he lets her see the truth in his eyes. He admits he's scared too, that he worries he won't be the father their child needs, that his past still haunts him more than he wants to admit. The confession feels like a crack in a wall he's spent years building, but instead of falling apart, something inside him loosens, just a little. Amy places her hand over his, and the moment their fingers meet, something shifts between them, something warm, grounding, real. They sit together like that. Hands joined, hearts trembling but open. For the first time all day, the silence feels gentle. Not something holding them back, but something allowing them space to breathe again. They don't have all the answers yet. They don't know how everything will unfold. But in this small waiting room, with the world going on around them, they find reassurance in the simple truth that they are facing this together. When the nurse finally calls Amy's name, Ty stands beside her, their hands still linked. The road ahead may still be unclear, but they take the next step forward as a team, nervous, hopeful, and ready to face whatever comes next. The clinic room feels different from the waiting area, quieter, softer, almost sacred. The walls are pale and calm, and the lights buzz gently above them. Amy settles onto the examination bed, while Ty stands close enough for their arms to brush. Even though neither of them speaks, the air between them carries a new softness, something warmer than the silence that filled the drive. The doctor enters with an easy smile and begins her routine checks, her voice calm and steady. Every word she says seems to land like a small anchor in the room, grounding them both. When the heartbeat monitor switches on, a soft fluttering sound fills the space. That tiny rapid beat, their baby's heartbeat, echoes through the room like a promise. Amy's hand immediately reaches out for Ty's, and this time he doesn't hesitate. His fingers wrap around hers tightly, almost instinctively. Something inside him melts at the sound, a fear releasing piece by piece. That heartbeat is no longer just an image in a photo. It's real, alive, strong. Ty feels his throat tighten, but he doesn't look away. He can't. The doctor continues explaining things calmly, telling them the baby looks healthy, that everything is progressing well. With each word, Amy feels her chest grow lighter. For days she's carried the weight of quiet doubts, whether she was taking care of herself properly, whether she was doing things right, whether the baby was okay. Hearing the doctor say that everything is going well feels like a gentle wave washing away those fears. Tears gather in her eyes, but not from sadness, from a sense of relief so deep she can barely breathe. Ty watches her, and in that moment, something clicks inside him. He realizes that Amy has been carrying her fears as silently as he has. He realizes she's been trying to stay strong for him, just as he's been trying to stay strong for her. All this time, they were both trying to protect each other from the weight they felt alone. The truth hits him like a warm rush. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be honest. When the exam ends and the doctor steps out, Ty and Amy remain in the room, still holding hands, neither ready to let go. The quiet hum of the machine fades, leaving only their soft breaths. Amy looks up at him, her eyes shimmering but determined. She tells him that no matter what, they'll figure things out together. She admits she doesn't know all the answers, and she doesn't expect him to either. She just wants to face everything with him, step by step. Ty feels the last wall inside him crumble at her words. He takes a slow breath, and for the first time in a long time, he lets himself speak from a deeper place. He tells her that he's afraid of repeating the mistakes he grew up with, afraid of failing before he even begins. But he also tells her something else, something more important. He tells her that he wants to be the father their baby needs, that he's willing to learn, willing to try, willing to grow. He doesn't promise perfection. He promises effort, love, and presence. And that is a promise he knows he can keep. Amy squeezes his hand, her smile soft but shining. She tells him that the very fact that he worries about being a good father already shows how much he cares. She reminds him of the man she fell in love with, a man who fought to build a better life, who protects the people he loves, who shows kindness even when he struggles. She tells him their baby is lucky to have him. Her voice trembles with emotion, but every word is steady and true. The room grows still again, filled only with their quiet breaths and the echoes of everything they just shared. Ty steps closer and rests his forehead gently against hers. A simple gesture but filled with meaning. Together, they breathe in the same moment, letting it settle deep inside them. The fear hasn't vanished completely, it may never fully disappear, but now it's softened, held between them instead of hidden, and that makes all the difference as they leave the clinic. Walking side by side toward the truck, the world feels a little brighter. The sky seems clearer, the air a little warmer. They don't talk much on the way back, but it's no longer an uncomfortable silence. It's a peaceful one, steady, connected, no longer to people carrying separate worries, but to parents stepping forward with a shared hope. They don't know everything yet, but they know this: whatever comes next, they'll face it as one. And for today, that is more than enough.